Update. Am I the a-hole for no longer bringing dinner for my wife after she claimed I never cook? Original post. I work at a nice restaurant as a cook, and every day when I get off from work, I always cook dinner for my wife and our 2 kids, 8 male and 6 female, at a restaurant before coming home. The only time I don't cook for them are on weekends when I'm off, and that's when my wife does the cooking. We usually trade off who makes breakfast and lunch for the kids every other day, but for the week I'm always the one bringing home dinner. Weekends, we sometimes get together with friends and they come over to the house. My wife usually cooks, and I help set the table/clean afterwards. One of her friends, Stacy, asked how come I never do any of the cooking, and it is always on my wife all the time making meals for the kids, especially when I'm a cook myself. Instead of correcting her, my wife sort of laughed and went along with it, making jokes about, you know how it is. And Stacy laughed because her ex-husband was the same way, and then sort of ripped on me in a joking way, how I better buck up before I became an ex too. My wife just said, well, let's see if he actually listens and starts cooking for once. Joking about all the time is spent in the kitchen at work but won't do the same at home. It really ticked me off. I'm not the husband that just doesn't do anything after I'm home from work. I cook food for her and the kids at work. And on top of that, I make separate dishes for each of them, what she wants and what the kids want. All that after standing on my feet all day. We talked about it once they left, because I don't appreciate being told I'm not doing something she knows for a fact I do. She didn't want to apologize for it because it was all just to be a funny joke. Even after telling her about how it hurt my feelings being put down like that. My wife said she felt like she has to go along with the joke so there wouldn't be any awkward vibes, whatever that means. But I said, fine, if she can't apologize for something that was mean just so she could laugh along with her friends, then I won't keep doing something she already claims I don't do. And for the past week, I've only brought home dinner for our kids, and she's had to make her own food. She's mad that I'm refusing to feed her over what happened, instead of letting it go. But I can't help but feel mad about being made fun of like that, when I'm busting my butt to provide for my family, and still making sure they have food on the table every evening. She just thinks I'm an a-hole for how I'm reacting, when she's already tired at the end of the day, but still having to make food for herself. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Your wife missed a great opportunity to boast on you, all for acceptance by others who have nothing invested in your relationship. Not even to boast though would have felt nice, but at least say, hey, you're wrong, not just go along with it. As a stay-at-home mom who has a significant other who actually does things for himself and around the house, I've basically had this conversation before. All she had to say is, actually, I don't have that problem. He's a responsible adult and pulls his share. I don't get why she had to lie to keep it from being awkward. I'm sure it was awkward already. Not the a-hole. Your spouse is supposed to be your partner in everything in life. The person who always has your back like you always have theirs. She threw you directly under the bus for the sake of not creating waves with her friend. Then when you told her you didn't find her comments at all funny and quite hurtful that she let someone else believe you're a deadbeat, she blew you off. So, she can make her own dinner until she sincerely apologizes and acknowledges that your contribution to the family of cooking dinner during the week is important. I feel like it was an excuse to worry about making waves. I don't understand why actually cooks during the week would create an awkward moment. If anything, it's the opposite. If I was the friend complaining about my horrible ex-husband who never helped, and my friend lied to me about how she can relate because her husband doesn't contribute, I would be pretty angry to find out she actually has an amazing husband who always helps her out. Like, I would be a bit hurt that she decided to lie and act like she's dealing with the same crap I am, when in reality, her husband is doing a lot of work to help her out. Now for the update. At first, wasn't going to post an update, but since things have gotten better, why not? I didn't show my wife this post like some suggested until a few days later, but before that, she wanted to talk before bed. And she apologized for how she's been behaving with me, when she made those jokes and let her friends say things about me, then how she was acting afterwards. In reality, she knew she did wrong, but when I called her out, it made her defensive, and she realizes how she was acting like a child after knowing how much I do for our family. That's when I showed her the post and opened up about something that was mentioned by me in my comments. How it really hit a nerve for me, making it seem like I'm a lousy father/husband when my dad was exactly that as he abandoned me and my mom. She knows how important it is for me to be as involved as possible when our kids were born because I never wanted to be like him. So her making it seem like that's how I am brought up some feelings. Telling her this really made her feel like she messed up big time. She wouldn't stop apologizing. She promised she'd never put me down that way. And honestly, I think she's shown that she meant her apology. For a week, she wanted to be the one making dinner for everyone, so I'd have some time to relax after work. It was nice, but also missed making meals for my family. Cooking for my kids is my own way of expressing my love for them, so we're back to that as well. I feel like my wife has more than shown how sorry she is, and appreciates what I also do for this family. Last time we had lunch with her friend a few days ago on my day off, she even brought it up. As mad as I was when it happened, it's nice to see she's made an effort to make amends. The support I got from here was very sweet. Appreciate feeling heard when it felt like my wife wasn't at a time. I'm really glad things worked out for you regarding this. Cooking is definitely my way of showing love to those I care about as well. Keep being a great father, and continue what you do regarding your cooking. Thank you. My family always loved my cooking, so knowing they enjoy something I made on top of keeping them fed is always a nice reward for me. Glad to see another wonderful example of communication and empathy solving the base issue. It's great that your wife was able to understand the underlying reasons behind why her comments were so hurtful to you, since that will help her consider her words before responding in future instances. I think she did a very normal human thing, which is to try to sympathize with the person who's hurting around you by agreeing with her general complaints. It's understandable because you don't want to sound like you're gloating at a person in that situation, but it can also cast a negative shadow on the sad person's recovery. If your wife has trouble with that kind of thing, you could recommend to her that she paint her comments about you as proof that good men do exist out there, if her friends take the time to look for them. It makes you feel good, it makes your wife feel good, and it gives a sad friend hope for a future relationship, as compared to despairing that no man/woman will ever truly love me. I think this is a communication issue. The issue was resolved because the person in the wrong admitted they were wrong and genuinely apologized and made it up to the person they wronged. Oftentimes, things don't get resolved no matter how the two parties communicate, because the one in the wrong doesn't want to admit they were wrong. Did she set the record straight with Stacy? Yes, she did. Good, because apologies behind closed doors are okay. But if her friends continue to make fun of you because she didn't set them straight, that's tough. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling my son inconsiderate? I, 46 female, have twins, 19 males, and another son, 16 male. My youngest son loves to cook and bake. To him, it's his source of relaxation. Alfredo, burgers, pizza, you name it. Heck, even a whole cake he can make it. Everyone who's met him knows he's a fantastic cook. However, he prefers to only cook for himself and gets really annoyed when my twins walk in on him cooking and ask him to make them food as well. He'll end up doing it, but he does it very begrudgingly and usually gives them a much smaller portion than his own serving, which my twins don't like. They both have jobs, and will sometimes use their job money to buy us all a little fast food, so they find it really upsetting how their younger brother never returns the favor by primarily cooking for himself. The other day, neither of my twins had class and weren't really in the mood for the food that we had in the house. My son came back from school and decided to make himself some banana pudding. When my twins asked for some as well, he told them they could just make it themselves, and that the ingredients were all still there. My son put the banana pudding in the fridge and went to go take a shower while it was chilling. When he came back down, he saw that my twins had eaten it all, and this really upset him. When he told me about the situation, I confronted the twins, to which they said it was really rude for him to only make something for himself knowing that they were hungry as well. And like he said, he could always make some more. So I told my son that while they shouldn't have eaten his food, they were right, and he was very inconsiderate. My son replied that it's not fair how he gets back from school and is expected to make food for his older siblings, that they can just get a cookbook and learn how to make things for themselves. I told my son that if he's not going to cook for everybody, then he can't cook anymore. He's been pretty moody ever since. Obviously, his brothers shouldn't have eaten his food, but it takes no effort to just make a larger portion of the food he's cooking so that everybody can have it. My husband thinks I'm in the right, but I'm really not happy with how things are right now between my children. So, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. I told my son that if he's not going to cook for everybody, then he can't cook anymore. You're the a-hole. You are not entitled to have your 16-year-old cook for the whole family every time he wants to cook. If this is a hobby that he enjoys, good for him. You and your other children are not an automatic beneficiary. And your twins eat all of his pudding? Major a-hole move. Did you make them make another batch to replace the one they ate? Or did you just let it slide and go on to punish 16-year-old? Give your head a shake. If you want him to cook for you, then maybe you should assign a night of the week that each of your kids be responsible to feed a family, whether it be cooking or bringing home food. Then it's fair. Yeah, or you could make them pay money if he cooks for them. I mean, if it was done in a fair and structured way like once a week, having him cook for everyone wouldn't be an unreasonable chore, given that they'll sometimes buy food and is using a provided kitchen and ingredients. But making it spontaneous and all-consuming, like make them something every time, it looks like she's just playing favorites. You're the a-hole. Why should your twins endlessly benefit from your 16-year-old's work? I hope he gets himself into a professional kitchen and thrives. He's not their servant. Are they doing his laundry? His other chores? Do they clean up the kitchen afterwards? That would be more equitable. What are they doing in return? Do you seriously think them buying something fast food is the same as all the work involved in making a meal? If he finds cooking and baking relaxing, he shouldn't do it professionally unless he really, really wants to. That's a good way to ruin a hobby. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents I don't want kids because I'm scared they will turn out like my brother? My older brother is unemployed, had almost always been unemployed, and has no intention to ever work. His life plan is to live off of our mother until she dies. Then our father, if he happens to live longer, then live off his inheritance. Or maybe he will try to mooch off of another relative. I don't know. Our parents have tried to get him to work. They did everything in their power to arrange him job positions where he didn't even have to interview. But no, he always comes up with an excuse to why that job is not good enough for him. He's my brother, so I love him of course, but at the same time, I'm ashamed of him and with how his actions hurt our parents. I turned 30 this week, and we celebrated it with my family yesterday. My mom said she was 30 when she had me and asked me when my husband and I will have kids. I told her I'm not sure if I'm up to the job. Raising children seems too difficult to me. She asked what I meant, and I told her that I don't think I would be able to properly parent a child, correct their behaviors, and deal with them possibly not living up to my expectations, which is not fair to the child either. She pressed further and my father joined in, acting like they don't understand what I mean, up until I told them that I'm afraid my child would turn out like my brother, for example, and I don't think I could deal with that. They got quiet for a second, and I saw that they finally understood what I meant. The problem was that, even though my brother was having a different conversation with one of our cousins, he heard what I said, looked at me, said nice, and walked out. Our parents said that I shouldn't have said what I said, even though they admit they pressured me to explain and understand my concerns, because it's already really hard to get my brother to come to family events, and now I made it even worse, and they want me to apologize to him. I didn't mean for him to hear that, and I feel bad. But seriously, he is a 34-year-old man refusing to get a job. I think it's time we stop cuddling him. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your brother is a non-functional mooch, unless there is something else going on. Your parents pressed the issue. By the way, they're enablers. It's ridiculous. My brother-in-law was also an unemployed mooch living with mommy from age 35 to 50. I told my husband that the brother-in-law is perfectly capable. Brother-in-law then met a gal who kicked his butt into shape, and he got a job and got married. The enabling is a real problem. Opie's parents did fail her brother, but the brother is at fault as well. It's a phenomenon called failure to launch, and Opie's parents are definitely enabling it by not pushing him out of the nest, so to speak. Not the a-hole. Pure and simple. Your life, your choice. Raising kids is a lot of work. I have 4, trust me. Worst thing for a child is having a parent that's not ready to commit the parent's life to raising a child. Now, if you want a child but simply are afraid of XYZ, let me comfort you. Every child is different. Your parents are enabling your brother, but that doesn't have to be you and your child. It's quite possible you won't have the same challenges with your child your parents have with your brother. Make no mistakes. There will be challenges. 99% chance they'll have their own unique twist in making your life interesting, however. I can concur. All 3 of the kids my parents raised turned out to be screwed up in completely different ways that are combated with completely different strategies. 2 out of 3 of us, despite facing a ton of challenges and having a lot wrong with us well into adulthood, have also found our own versions of success. One of us is a pseudo-Nazi who wriggled out of an arson charge. But part of parenting is accepting that your kid might turn out to be a bad person for reasons beyond your control. Not the a-hole. Is it the US? If so, there's a thing called eviction. Unless he's able to pay for his own food and place to live, he's not really doing anything useful. And I totally agree. Raising kids is a difficult thing to do. Same reason I don't have kids. I just don't want to take that burden. My brother made it clear in the past that if they kicked him out, he would just go to our maternal grandparents who would take care of him. Our parents didn't want to burden the grandparents, so they never attempted to stop providing for him. Then, our grandparents both died last year within a few months from each other. But now my parents believe he couldn't take care of himself and would just become homeless if they kicked him out. My dad especially said he couldn't live with that. He couldn't make his son homeless. I tried suggesting they tell him that they will cut him out of their will if he doesn't get a job. But my dad says that wouldn't work, because my brother would call his bluff. Am I the a-hole for cutting all contact with my family because of a prank? Original post. Here's what happened. I, 27 female, have always had a complicated relationship with my family. They've always been the type of people who think any joke is fine as long as someone laughs, no matter who gets hurt. Over the years, I've tried to brush it off and not let it bother me too much. But this time, they crossed a line I can't ignore. Recently, I achieved something big in my life. I bought my first home after saving for years. It's something I worked incredibly hard for, sacrificing vacations, nights out, and basically anything extra to make it happen. I was beyond proud of myself and excited to finally have a place to call my own. Naturally, I wanted to share this milestone with my family, even though our relationship has always been rocky. A few weeks ago, we had a family dinner to celebrate my new home. Everything seemed fine at first. They congratulated me, asked about the house, and seemed genuinely happy for me. But halfway through the night, my brother, 30 male, and sister, 25 female, handed me an envelope. They said it was a surprise to help me with my house. I opened it, and inside was what looked like a legal notice, stating that my house purchase had been canceled because of a clerical error and that it was now being sold to someone else. It even had an official-looking letterhead, my name, and details about the house. I was in complete shock. Everyone around the table started laughing, and my brother yelled, "Gotcha!" Turns out, they had faked the letter and thought it would be hilarious to see my reaction. I burst into tears, which only made them laugh harder. They even recorded the whole thing on their phones to post on social media. When I finally managed to speak, I told them how cruel this was. Buying this house was the biggest thing I'd ever done, and they turned it into a joke at my expense. Their response? "You're so sensitive. It was just a prank. Lighten up." I left the dinner early, completely heartbroken. A few days later, I decided I'd had enough. This wasn't the first time they'd pulled a prank like this. Over the years, they've humiliated me countless times. Once ruining a job interview outfit by accidentally spilling coffee on it. Another time pretending to lose my dog just to see me panic. I cut off all contact. I didn't make a scene, I just stopped responding to messages, blocked them on social media, and declined invites to family events. Now, I'm getting guilt-tripping messages from extended family, saying I'm being selfish and tearing the family apart. My mom even left me a voicemail crying about how much she misses me and begging me to come back. But I can't bring myself to forgive them. This prank felt like the final straw, and I don't see how I can trust them again. So, Reddit, am I the a-hole for cutting off my family over this prank? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. You're rightfully upset because it wasn't a prank. It was bullying. The "it was just a joke" BS is something every bully does to justify humiliating people. They thought it would be fun to upset you on your big night and then take videos of it and post it on social media? And your mother is crying that she misses you? No, she had an opportunity there to rip them a new one about their behavior and about treating you with kindness and respect, and she thought it would be better to go along with the prank. You deserve better than this. I'm glad you finally decided to call an end to their bullying. Don't let them or any extended family members pressure you into doing anything you don't want to do. I'm sorry that they couldn't just be happy for you for your achievement. Congratulations on your new home. She doesn't miss OP. Money is that she's become the new target in OP's absence. Not the a-hole. They went too far several pranks ago. Ruining an interview outfit isn't a prank, it's abusive. There's a great free PDF on tactics abusers use in interpersonal violence. Why does he do that? That you might find revelatory. It's a common abuse strategy to start an argument with someone the night before an important educational or career event, to fight the morning of a new job, to make sure the transportation to work isn't available, etc. Ruining an outfit you are going to wear falls into this category in my mind. Forcing you out of an outfit you felt comfortable and confident in, and sending you scrambling for something else is abuse. I'm sorry you've been abused and then gaslit by being told these are pranks. They're not pranks. It seems like the abuse is centered around anything that you love or makes you feel proud or successful. Have they always been envious of you? Your family members are abusive a-holes. Stay away and tell your extended family that you're done with the abusive bullying. Now for the first update. After I went no contact with my family, I thought they'd eventually accept my decision and move on, but that hasn't been the case. For the past few weeks, my brother and sister have been trying to get me to see the funny side of their prank. They've shown up at my house uninvited multiple times, banging on the door and demanding to talk to me. At first I ignored them, but it became clear they weren't going to stop. One evening, I caught them standing outside my house with their phones out, recording themselves while yelling things like, "She can't take a joke," and "Let's see how long she can hide." It felt more like harassment than an attempt to reconcile. The final straw came when I discovered my car had been egged overnight, and my security camera caught my brother and sister doing it. I confronted them through text, telling them they'd crossed the line and needed to stop. Their response? "You're so dramatic. You're going to laugh about this one day." At this point, I realized I couldn't handle this on my own. I went to the police and filed a report for harassment. They took my statement, reviewed the footage from my security camera, and agreed that this behavior was unacceptable. My siblings were contacted and warned to stay away from me. Their reaction? More mocking messages, calling me a snitch and accusing me of tearing the family apart. Some of my extended family members are siding with them, saying I should have just talked it out instead of involving the police. But others, especially those who've seen the footage, are horrified and fully support my decision. I feel a mix of relief and sadness. It's hard to accept that my own family could treat me this way, but I also feel safer knowing I've taken steps to protect myself. I'm focusing on building a new life in my home and surrounding myself with people who respect and support me. To anyone out there struggling with toxic family dynamics, you're not alone, and it's okay to set boundaries to protect your peace. Thank you for giving me the strength to stand up for myself. Final update 3 months later. I know I haven't updated in a while, and honestly, it's because dealing with all of this has been exhausting. Even after filing the police report, my brother and sister wouldn't let up. I wanted to believe they'd eventually get bored and move on, but instead, they doubled down. The mocking messages didn't stop. They even bragged about the warning they received, treating it like a joke. My extended family was split. Some still told me I was overreacting, while others admitted they were disturbed by my siblings' behavior. Then, things escalated. My security cameras caught them trespassing on my property again, this time leaving a mess of toilet paper and shaving cream all over my driveway. That was the final straw. I went back to the police and provided the new footage, showing that they had ignored the warning. This time, I filed for a restraining order. I had more than enough evidence to prove that their behavior was escalating, and after presenting everything security footage, text messages, and police reports, the judge granted it. They were legally ordered to stay away from me, my home, and my workplace. At first, they acted like it was a joke, but when they realized I wasn't playing their game anymore, the harassment finally stopped. The restraining order forced them to keep their distance, and for the first time in a long time, I felt safe. Some family members still don't understand why I had to take things this far, but I don't need their approval. I did what I had to do to protect myself. My home is now a place of peace, not anxiety. My phone is quiet. My life is my own again. To anyone dealing with toxic family members who refuse to respect your boundaries, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. You are not obligated to tolerate mistreatment just because it comes from family. Your safety and well-being come first always. And if they want to call me a snitch for defending myself, so be it. I'd rather be a snitch than a doormat. Why do I get the feeling that all those pranks are supposed to take OP down a notch? Because OP is succeeding, job interview in house, and the rest of them isn't. I think this is it. It's definitely giving she thinks she's so much better than us. Let's put her in her place. But OP with her new and shiny backbone said enough was enough, and I love that for her. I hope she's surrounded by genuine people who truly care and never lets those a-holes back into her life. May they have the life they deserve. You're right. I remember the time I invited my mother and sister to a social event for a political nonprofit I was with. I was freshly 19 and a new adult. My mother and sister were sitting by the bar the whole time, so I left my purse by them so I could go network. When I came back, the purse was gone, and they had no idea where it was. I started to panic and look around. I asked the bartender. Finally, my mom gave my purse back to me and admitted that she had hidden it to teach me a lesson about being careless with my things. Careless for trusting my closest family members? I know it was actually because she was threatened to see me as a new adult being social with other adults, as I'd been a very shy and introverted teenager. May her siblings turn their pranks on the family members who supported them. Oh, they will. Or on their parents. And suddenly the new punching bag will understand OP's point of view and come crawling back asking for forgiveness. Just wait for a couple of months for the new update. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend I'm not interested in her baby or being involved in her new mom life? I, 29 female, have been child-free my whole life. I've never wanted kids. I've never liked being around kids. I don't even like holding babies. It's not a phase or trauma or anything like that. I'm just not wired that way. I've always said I don't want to be a mom or have anything to do with parenting. One of my close friends from college, let's call her Anna, 30 female, recently had a baby. She's always wanted kids, so I'm happy for her. I even got her a baby shower gift and dropped off food when she came home from the hospital. But now she's acting like I'm supposed to shift my entire lifestyle to fit around her new life as a mom. She keeps making comments like, "You'll change your mind one day," or "You'll be the cool auntie," or "Wait until you hold her, she'll melt your heart." I just laugh it off, but it's getting annoying. She even started sending me parenting videos and baby milestone photos every other day. I don't react and she keeps pushing. Last weekend, she invited me to a moms and friends gathering at her house, and I politely said no. I don't enjoy being around kids and I didn't want to spend my Saturdays surrounded by babies and diapers. She told me she needed support and said I should be there for her now that things are hard. That's when I finally confessed my feelings that I care about her, but I didn't want to be involved in baby stuff. I didn't want to babysit. I'm still her friend, but nothing has changed on my end. She got really quiet and just said, "Wow, okay." She hasn't talked to me since. And now one of our mutual friends said Anna's feelings were really hurt. Apparently she cried and told people I was cold and made her feel abandoned. I didn't mean to be harsh, but I also feel like I was honest. I didn't insult her baby or her parenting. I just don't want to be involved. I didn't sign up to be a second mom just because I don't have kids of my own. It feels like people think being child-free means I have all this free time and no emotional limits. I'm allowed to set boundaries too. So now I'm wondering if I was too blunt. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Just wanted to clear a few things up since people are asking and making assumptions. Anna and I are close, but we're not best friends. We've always gotten along and stayed in touch since college, but we don't talk every day or share everything. I care about her and I'm happy she's doing something she always wanted, but we've never been the kind of friends who are super involved in every part of each other's lives. Also, this wasn't the first time we talked about boundaries. I've said multiple times that she should ask our mutual friend, who does like kids and has babysitting experience, to help out instead of me. I even offered to help pay that person so Anna wouldn't feel stuck. She just kind of brushed it off every time and said things like, "But you're her aunt in spirit," or "I just want people I trust." I do support her, I sent gifts, brought food, checked in during pregnancy. I just don't want to play a parenting role. That's not the same as not caring at all. I get that new motherhood can be isolating and hard, and I feel bad if my words added to that. I do plan on reaching out to apologize for how I said it, because I wasn't trying to be mean. But I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not either. I think there's a way to say sorry without going back on the boundary I set. I'm just figuring out how to word it. Thanks for the feedback so far. Edit 2. A few more things because I've gotten some weird DMs and assumptions. This is a throwaway account because I have a main that's tied to my private business. I post under my real name there, and I really don't need clients or business contacts finding a personal rant about mom friendships and turning it into something it's not. I'm not trying to hide some big secret or troll. I just don't want this tied to my professional life. Hope that makes sense. Also, I really don't hate men. Not sure why that came up, but no, this post isn't about gender or bitterness or anything like that. I don't have some deep-rooted issue with families or parenting either. I just personally don't want kids, and I don't want to be pushed into a caretaking role just because I'm available. That's it. It's not some anti-anything stance. I also want to say I really do appreciate the thoughtful comments, and even the ones that disagreed kindly. This post wasn't meant to trash Anna or act like I'm some perfect boundary setter. I messed up the way I said things. I am going to reach out with an actual apology because it's not about being right. It's about maintaining a friendship, even if it has to shift a little. But yeah, I'm still not going to babysit. That hasn't changed, LOL. Thanks for support and criticism. Not the a-hole. If she's your close friend, she should already know your stance and accept it. They aren't going to be close friends anymore. She's a new mom. Her baby is the most important thing in her life. She's not going to spend much time around someone if she can't talk about the baby and that person dislikes the baby. Neither of them are the a-hole, but it's just how things are gonna go. Maybe they will hang out every once in a while, but their friendship is going to look very different. This is coming from someone who is a mother and drifted away from some friends after I had children. Not the a-hole. Friends come and go and are in your life at certain times for a reason. You seem to have made your interest or lack thereof clear. I have child-free friends who I do dinner with every once in a while. Child-free. I have child-free friends who come over all the time and are aunties. I also have child-free friends, and we just didn't mesh anymore after I became a mother. All of that is fine. I can't force anyone to be a part of my life, and frankly, it sounds exhausting. Relationships evolve and change. Do I feel for your friend that she is having a rough time? Yes, but it sounds like there are ways you have supported her that don't involve the kid. And it's definitely not fair of her to expect you to come to a kid-centric event. If it was like a large gathering for adults and kids happen to be there, it would be different. Same and same. Well said. Your friend might come around when her kid's a bit older, but part of her being your friend is her realizing you are not going to share this journey with her in the way she's currently expecting, and that has to be okay. Do I look back at how I was when I had a new baby and cringe at times? Yes, for sure. But as an adult with older kids now, I love my time with adults child-free as much as I love my time with kids. The baby stage is overwhelming. You are a good friend and you are supportive in your way. She'll either come around or won't, but try to find others to hang with to fill that void for now. Update. Thanks to everyone who commented. I've read through a lot of the responses, even the harsh ones, and I've had some time to reflect. Anna and I are going to meet up for drinks on Monday. I reached out and offered to pay for a babysitter so she could relax, but she said her mom will be watching the baby. I'm hoping we can talk things out and get back on the same page, even if things look a little different now. Appreciate the perspective. Things seem to be moving positively for now.